Hello everyone, my dear students, first year. Here we are again with lesson number 10 concerning the grammar lessons series. Lesson number 10, passive versus active voices. Active and passive. So active and passive are two normally forms that we can find them in the sentences. So the sentence can be active, I mean I have a subject and I have a verb and I have an object, and I can have a subject who is a noun, okay, who is a noun. In this case I'm going to use the passive voice, and it is normally used mainly, as I told you, when the subject is a noun. It is used also when I have normally a text which is related to scientific research, I mean an academic paper, something like this. Here we use the passive voice. Active voice, it's like here we have my grandfather planted this tree. Passive, this tree was planted by my grandfather. Here we have to add the preposition by, and the active verb will be passive. I use the verb to be, or the auxiliary to be, and in the same tense of the main verb, and I put the past participle of that main verb. So my grandfather will be in place of the object, and the object will be in place of the subject, and we change the verb from being active to be passive, and I add between the verb and the object, the agent or the subject, which is already, it was an object, subject, I add by. So here we have normally the passive voice, I mean the tenses, verb tenses here, concerning the passive voice, how it changed to be passive. So normally we don't change the tense from active to passive, we just change normally the nature of the verb. For example, present simple, he delivers the letters, it will be the letters are delivered. So here I change it only the normally the verb, okay. So past simple, he delivered the letters were delivered. Future simple, he will deliver the letters will be delivered. Present continuous, he is normally delivering the letters are being delivered. Past continuous, he was delivering the letters were being delivered. Going to, he's going to deliver the letters, and the letters are going to be delivered. So here we just normally take the tense of the main verb to be the tense of the auxiliary to be, and I add the past participle of the verb. The present perfect, here he has delivered the letters have been delivered, and till the end, okay. So this is normally a general idea about the passive and the active voices in English. When to use it? Of course, we have to ask ourselves when to use this passive and active voice. When the agent, the person who does the action, I mean the subject, is a noun, or is an important or obvious from the context, so I don't need to tell his name. Jane was shot. Here I don't know who shot her. This church was built in 1815. It is not important, the agent. He has been arrested, obviously, by the police. So here, these are the main uses of the passive voice. Why I use the passive voice. It is used also to make more polite or formal statements. For example, the car hasn't been cleaned. So, which means it is more polite. Okay. You haven't cleaned the car. Less polite. So this is normally to make them more polite and formal. So to put emphasis on the agent, the new library will be opened by the Queen. So in order to emphasize, the Queen will come, the Queen who will normally open this new library. So it is to get more emphasis on the agent. When the action is more important than the agent, as in processes, instructions, events, reports, headlines, new items, and advertisements. So here when you have, this is, if you can say, much more academic, okay? And especially in scientific research, when we have instructions, for example, for a machine, how to use it, here we use the past tense. 30 people were killed in the earthquake. Here it is a report in news, okay? Not were killed, where or we can say 30 or for example the earthquake killed 30 people. No, we say 30 people were killed in the earthquake. So these were the uses, and here we have to look at the double object verbs when we have direct and indirect objects. When we have verbs that take two objects, like for example give somebody something, we can convert the active sentence into a passive one in two ways. First of all, by making the indirect animate object the subject of the passive voice sentence, which is also the way that we usually prefer. I was given this book by Rick. Rick gave me indirect. Gave what? This book to me. And then normally I say this book instead of me, and I add to me. So in order to avoid the use of to me, I'm going to use the indirect object first and then the direct object. So here in this case, we have normally two ways to express in the passive voice. So I can say I was given. Me will be I. Gave, it will be was, and given, which is normally the past participle of to give, because give is normally a regular verb. Rick, here I put by Rick, and this book we keep it as it is. So I was given this book by Rick. So here I was given. So me will be the normally as subject here, as the agents. So this book was given to me by Rick. So or otherwise I'm going to use this book was given to me by Rick. So here we have normally two possibilities. So here I can start with this book, and I can start with the me. So there is no obligation here to start with this or that. So we can use both of them in the passive voice without any problem. Concerning some of the verbs that take two objects, normally we can have such kind of examples: give, tell, send, show, bring, write, offer, pay, etc. These are normally verbs that are supposed to have two objects, a direct object and indirect object. When the indirect object is all alone after the verb in the passive voice sentence, it needs a preposition to, like the case of to me that we have seen before. If the indirect object of the active voice sentence is a personal pronoun, okay, personal pronoun like I, you, me, you, etc. Here, if indirect object is a personal pronoun, not a noun or any other, not a noun, but it is a personal pronoun mainly, it has to be changed into a subject pronoun to be the subject of the passive voice, like the example that we have already seen here. Me, it will be I. Okay, so here we change them to be like subject form in the passive voice. So instead of being me, it will be I. You, of course it stays as it is. Him, he, her, she, it, us, it will be we, you, it will be stays as it is, them, it will be they. Okay. Here, my dear students, since we have seen this main uses, main rules of passive and active voice, let's do the practice here together, my dear students. And you can take a piece of paper and the pen and try to do it with me. Okay, just follow me. I'm going to use the pen also, but this pen is not like the pen that you are using. Let's practice. Number 1, complete the sentences with the correct passive form, or the correct, not correct. So there is a difference between the adjective and the verb. Passive form of the verbs in brackets, and we use the present simple, of course. Here we have English, we have speak, and in many countries. So here we are not going to we don't have the subject, so we are going to just do the verb in the passive form, of course using the present simple together. Speak, normally automatically we are going to use the verb to be in the present simple. So what to write here? It is English. Normally I use with it is. Okay, is. English is what? The past participle is spoken. Okay, English is spoken. Sorry for my writing. And then we move to the posts. Deliver. Deliver, it is normally, yeah, I lost the pen, that's it. I'm going to use also is. Is normally delivered. Of course I use the past participle of the verb in this case. The post is delivered at about 7 o'clock every morning. See, the building use, it is not use, it is use any more. And here we have a question, so you have to start with a verb. There is a verb and subject inversion here, so we have to pay attention to this. So I'm going to start with is. Is, of course we use the capital letter here. Is. Okay, the building is the building used. Is the building used anymore? So here I put it as a passive voice, but in the form of question. So here it is okay. So just here inverted the subject and the verb, the conjugated verb, of course. How often the Olympic Games hold? How often the Olympic Games hold? Also, this is another question. So how often, of course, the Olympic Games, it's a plural. So how often are the Olympic, I'm not going to write it all, I'm going to write only the first initial or the initial letters. Okay, Olympic Games. Normally here hold, it is an irregular verb. I'm going to put held. Okay, so it is not like the case of used, it's not like the case of delivered, so it is not the same. So how your name spell, and spell, it has two normally past participles. It can be spelled, it can be spelled. Okay, so we have to pay attention to this. So how often, how your name, how is your name okay, I just put N. You see here, I put it can be like this, it can be like this. You have to check this. Okay, how is your name spelled or spelled? Question mark. My salary pay every month. Normally my salary, it's a singular, is paid okay, every month. Here it is also an irregular verb, so we have to pay attention to this. These cars not make in Japan. Of course, this word is widely used in our clothes and our offers, products coming from here and there. We say made in. Okay, so these cars, since it is a plural, are, it will be are, since the instructions said in advance that it is in the present simple, are not, this is a negative form. Made, of course, make, it is irregular, so it's regular its past participle is made. Sorry for the M. In Japan, the name of the people who committed the crime, not known. So here what you say, the name of the people who committed the crime. So here, as you have seen, we have name, the people, who, and the crime. So which one takes normally normally we are going to conjugate the verb accordingly. So the name of the people. So here what interests us is the name. So this is normally the head of the noun phrase. Okay, the name of the people, and here this is part of a relative clause. So we have the subject and we have its who, which is normally, which is an the antecedents of who is the name of the people who committed the crime. So who committed the crime, it is a relative clause. Okay, and the name of the people was not known. His travel expenses, of course, expenses are not paid. Good. So this is normally the exercise or the practice number 1. Let's move now to practice number 2. Complete the sentences with the correct passive form of the verbs in brackets using the past simple. So it is different from the first activity and the second activity is that the tense, the present simple and the past simple. The past simple is my car repaired last week. So we use normally the verb or the auxiliary to be in the past simple. So what will be? It is either was or were. Since my car, I'm going to put was. Was what? Repaired. Last week. This song not written by John Lennon. This song was not written by John Lennon. The phone answered by a young girl. So we are going to use it in the past tense, but with as a question. So what to start with here? I'm going to start with was, because I have the phone. The phone answered. Answer is a regular verb, so it takes the ed. Was answered by a young girl. The film made 10 years ago. Of course, the film was made. The film was made 10 years ago. When tennis invented. When was, of course, we still have the questions. When tennis was invented. When tennis was invented. Okay, sorry for the handwriting because I'm using only the space for the mouse, so I cannot write it like using real pen. The car not damaged in the accident. Normally it will be was not damaged. Here it is already done. I'm not going to write it. Lazy woman. Was not. Okay, was not damaged in the accident. The original building normally was pulled down in 1965. So here I'm going to write was, because I have the building. Was pulled down in 1965. Where these spots make? Where, of course, was this spots made? Sorry, spots. It is spots made. And finally, when was, of course, when was, it does not work. So when was this bridge built exactly? When was this bridge built? Of course, this bridge built. Good. This is normally about the passive voice. I hope that you have benefited from this. So the passive voice and active voice is a question of the verb. okay, and the placements of the subject and the object from one place to another. So okay, my dear students, thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next videos.